So by the time this video is uploaded, the free agency will have started. And I can tell you right now, and I think that we can all agree that this free agency is huge. I mean, it's kind of proven now that this is going to be way bigger than even last year when LeBron James, who was the biggest player, went to the Lakers. I think this free agency, and I think we can all agree that this free agency is going to be bigger than that. We have so many incredible players who are all at least going to potentially be free agents this year, and we could see a huge shift in the NBA that will, change the course of the next decade. We are about to enter into a new decade, and what happens in this summer can change the future of the NBA. So with that, I'm going to be giving you guys 5 questions that I have for myself for free agency this summer. These are 5 things that I've kind of been thinking about as free agency rumors have come around, and we've seen, oh, this player might go here or this player might stay. I think that I have 5 questions that I want to, lay out there and see what happens. So it's just kind of like my thoughts on what's going to happen with free agency before it even happens. So with that being said, my name is Maz, and let's not waste any more time and jump right into it. I think the first question is pretty simple. What's going to happen with Kawhi Leonard?
What it do, baby? Yeah.
Now, it's pretty obvious that, the Raptors just won the NBA championship, and obviously the Raptors right now are in huge celebration mode, even Kawhi Leonard. I mean, when the parade was happening, there was the chants that were going on that were trying to get Kawhi to stay. And during the chants, Kyle Lowry went in and started getting into the chants, and he started chanting 5 more years. And, that chant got louder and louder. And obviously there's a lot of questions about, is Kawhi Leonard even going to stay, even when they won the championship? Because obviously Toronto wasn't even Kawhi's preferred destination in the first place. He wanted to go to LA last summer, and San Antonio decided not to take him to LA, and they shipped him to Toronto. Luckily that worked out for him. They won the championship, but obviously it's not his first position, and obviously he knows that, there are other options that he has, thought about. If you look at the teams that are most likely to sign Kawhi, obviously you have Toronto in there, but you also have the LA Clippers. Has also been some rumors about even the Knicks trying to get him. I highly doubt it, but it's something. So I think that one of the big questions is going to be, this is the finals MVP for this year. He is arguably one of the best players, or probably top 2 right now, players in the NBA right now. And, it's obviously going to be a question of where is he going to go, because it is, it is public information. It is known that he is potentially going to listen to more teams, and just because he won a championship doesn't necessarily mean he's going to stay with Toronto. I mean, it's highly likely that he would stay. I don't understand why you wouldn't, but at the end of the day, obviously he never wanted to be in Toronto in the first place. So if he ends up going to somewhere like LA, it makes sense because that's where he wanted to go originally. My next question is, what's going to happen with Kevin Durant and with Klay Thompson? Obviously we saw that both of them have suffered gruesome, disgusting injuries. Kevin Durant with the torn Achilles and Klay Thompson with the ACL. These are injuries that are likely to keep both of them out for the entirety of the next season, which is very devastating because we knew that Kevin Durant was likely going to leave, and we kind of made the assumption in our heads that after this year that Kevin Durant was going to leave for New York or Brooklyn or something. And we've even thought about that with Klay Thompson. There's a lot of talk about Klay Thompson potentially going to the Lakers or potentially going somewhere else. But I feel like all of that talk has kind of shut down when the injuries happened, because even if it's Kevin Durant and Klay Thompson, what teams are going to be willing to throw a lot of money at 2 players with the amount of risk that there is? I mean, if you're a team like the Knicks or the Nets trying to sign KD, it is a huge risk, and you are throwing a lot of money at a player that might not be the same. I mean, in Kevin Durant's case, with the torn Achilles, we have seen players, when they come back from a torn Achilles, they are not the same. I mean, look at Kobe. And Kevin Durant was an incredible player all the way up till now, and we know that. This is known. But who knows if he's going to be that player even after this season and after he comes back from the Achilles. I mean, Kevin Durant's career is a huge question mark now. Is he going to be the same? Is he still going to be one of the top players in the league? Is he still going to be like that second or third guy chasing LeBron? All those questions are going to be answered very differently in the coming year. And in Klay Thompson's case, an ACL is not impossible to recover from. We have seen instances where players have recovered very well after an ACL, and we have also seen players with the exact opposite. So I wouldn't rule out the possibility of a team trying to throw some money at Klay Thompson, because at the end of the day, he is a great player, and it isn't impossible to properly recover from an ACL tear as opposed to an Achilles. And obviously, what's the most likely thing now? Obviously, the talk is that, both of them are going to re-sign with Golden State and take the time that they need to basically recover from and go through rehab and whatever they need to do, so that not only are they not worried about playing anywhere, but they're not worrying about their money. And the Warriors are going to have to do a huge change, because both of their key players are out for basically most or the entirety of next year. So the Warriors are going to have to do a lot of changes to what they're going to do with their roster for next year, because as of right now, you just have Steph and Draymond. So the Warriors are going to have to worry about potentially re-signing Kevin Durant and Klay Thompson and making sure that they're healthy for the next time that they play, and trying to refix their roster for next year so that they have a successful roster ready to go. So that's going to be a huge question that everyone's been thinking about, and with free agency, we're going to get those answers. Another question I have is, what's going to happen with DeMarcus Cousins? I mean, remember, DeMarcus Cousins signed for 1 year for Golden State at an extreme pay cut. He took $5 million just to win for 1 year in Golden State. He knew what he wanted to do. He wanted to win a championship in 1 year and then go somewhere else and get his money's worth. He took a significant pay cut from New Orleans just to, get one championship run. And they didn't even get the championship. So I think that with all the talk about, Kevin Durant, Klay Thompson, Kyrie Irving, and all these big names, we forget that DeMarcus Cousins is still a top big man in the league. And it's going to be a question mark about where he's going to go, because it's highly unlikely that he stays with Golden State. So my question basically is just, what teams are going to want to sign him? He came back from the injury, and during the games he played in the playoffs, he was on and off. He had some very good performances, and he had some not so good performances. So obviously, I don't think the playoffs are necessarily a good indicator, because it's not an 82 game grueling long season, and obviously he's still in the midst of recovering from an injury. So obviously, he's not going to be in the tip-top shape, and he's not going to be playing at the highest level that he could. But what are some teams that are going to be willing to throw some money at him and actually sign him? Obviously, there's talk about potentially the Lakers. I think that there hasn't been any other team that I have thought about personally that has played with the idea of signing DeMarcus Cousins. So I think that the Lakers honestly are the best option for DeMarcus Cousins to go to. And, obviously the Lakers are trying to get a lot of players to fit around LeBron and AD. But, signing DeMarcus Cousins for the Lakers isn't necessarily a bad idea. And my question that I want to throw to you guys is, where should DeMarcus Cousins go? Because I really can't think of a team that necessarily could use him or would be able to sign him. I can't really think of any team that was able to do that. So if you guys have any ideas, please comment, because I'm actually genuinely curious about what's going to happen with him, because he is one of the best big men in the league, or at least he was before the injury, and I have no doubt that he can still do that. But what team is going to be willing to take him is my question. Speaking of the Lakers, I think that this is one question that everyone's been kind of talking about right now, especially with the recent trade with AD. Who are the Lakers going to sign? We just heard that the Lakers basically just did a huge blunder when their trade with Anthony Davis. They thought that they would be able to sign him, get rid of their key assets like, Ingram, Ball, and Harden and everything. And they would be able to also have enough space to sign another top player, someone like a Kyrie Irving, a Jimmy Butler, a Kemba Walker. But apparently, from some reports, they kind of messed up and they realized that they're not going to have much money to sign any big player. So the chances of them signing one of those top players are really low, unless one of them is willing to take a significant pay cut. So what free agents right now are going to be willing to sign with the Lakers? We haven't really heard anything. There have been a number of players that have been talked about with trying to go to the Lakers. We have heard Kyrie Irving, Kemba Walker, Jimmy Butler, Kawhi Leonard, DeMarcus Cousins, Bradley Beal. I think even Derrick Rose has been in the conversation a little bit. So obviously the Lakers signed Anthony Davis, and they've been trying to do that for months, and they finally got it, which is great for them. But obviously you gave up so much. So what else do you need? You need a lot of players. But again, that's just my take. I am very curious to see what the Lakers do in this free agency. They have been able to successfully sign AD. They gave up a lot, but they still got him. And now the question is, who else? Because what they have right now is definitely not going to be enough to make a deep playoff run and even a championship run. So moving on to my final question, can the Brooklyn Nets win free agency? Obviously, as of right now, they are the favorites to sign Kyrie Irving. Kyrie Irving has expressed a lot of interest, and he has expressed that he really wants to play there. He also left his agency and signed with Rock Nation. So, I mean, there is a little bit of a tie with Brooklyn there too. So the Nets signing Kyrie Irving isn't necessarily ruled out, and as of right now, it's likely to happen. But I know that for the Nets, signing Kyrie is not enough. I mean, we see what Kyrie does by himself. He's a great player who can help the team in a significant way. But will it be enough to actually be taken seriously as a championship team? No. And Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant have been talking for months. This is the one that we've all been talking about. The idea of Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant signing together in New York or in Brooklyn. But with Kevin Durant's injury, that whole question is going to be changed. Is Kyrie Irving going to want to sign with Brooklyn knowing that they might not even get Kevin Durant? I've heard a couple days ago that the Nets are aggressively trying to pursue both of them, and that's the case that I think we've all been kind of assuming would happen. If Kevin Durant were to leave Golden State, it would likely be with Kyrie Irving at the same destination. But what is Brooklyn going to do? Are they going to really go all in with both of these guys, or are they going to sign one? Because obviously the Nets are going to have to try to take a bit of a risk with Kevin Durant. And are they going to be willing to throw a lot of money at him knowing that he's not even going to play for another year? Me personally, if I was a Brooklyn Nets, I would be throwing everything at Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving, because the thought of them playing together, even if it takes 1 year where you're not going to be able to compete right away, you're going to have to make sure that Kevin Durant recovers. I think that the reward, or at least the chance of having both of them on your team to make a run at a championship, outweighs the risk. Because Kevin Durant's not going to play next year, and Kyrie Irving will, as of right now at least. So Kyrie Irving can kind of take the team under his wing and kind of do whatever he needs to do. At least try to make a decent playoff run. Maybe push for the second round, or maybe even the conference finals. Make sure that you train and make sure that Kevin Durant is going under the right rehab and that he is recovering, and that when he comes back, he is at the highest level possible, so that once it's time, you can actually compete for a championship right away. So that's going to wrap up my 5 questions that I have for free agency. I'm sorry that I kind of sounded like I'm rambling a lot. I've kind of just been saying everything on the fly. I haven't really had a script or anything. I haven't pre-written anything. I haven't necessarily prepped for this. So if it sounds like I'm not really making enough sense, bear with me if I sound like I'm rambling or stuttering a lot. I want to get something out there before free agency, because a lot's going to happen in the next week or two. So I wanted to just get one thing out there that kind of lets you guys know where I am personally about free agency before it all goes down. I am super excited to see what's going to happen this next week or two. Can change the course of the NBA, and I am here for it. Thank you guys for watching this video. If you did enjoy, please be sure to leave a like and also leave a comment about what you think is going to happen during free agency. I'm actually really curious to see what you guys think. And if you haven't already, please subscribe and support the channel, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.